Travis, back again for another Give Us the Launch Codes.
How's it going, everyone? We're back.
Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing good. That was a fun party yesterday, honestly. From time of recording, being June 9th.
Oh yeah. I had a birthday party in my backyard yesterday. Some good fajitas.
That was really good.
Yeah.
No, it was just a nice. It's just honestly, I think I'm coming off that food high still.
Me too. I'm not hungry right now.
Which is odd. Yeah, no, me neither. That was nice. But yeah, no. So, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It does mean a lot to us when you join us and you listen to our episodes. We have a great time doing this. So we thought for this episode,
we're gonna solve religion. We're gonna solve all the religion. We're gonna do it in an hour.
No, yeah, we thought we would talk about, because we just, the way things are and we, watching the news and stuff, it's interesting.
I'm sorry, we could just open, you could open every topic with the way things are and
really,
watching the news.
Yeah,
every episode can open that way. The way things are, watching the news, we thought we'd talk about why the Angels suck right now.
Well, we swept you in a series, so suck it.
Oh, yeah.
That's
And you haven't done anything with that height.
You know what? That's all.
You had like an 8-game winning streak, and I don't think you've been able to keep that momentum.
As an Angel fan, I'll say this: fuck you, Trout. Just fuck you. You're a waste of payroll. Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah. Talk about just religion in this country, because somehow it's getting stupider and hostile and money making for some fucking reason. It's just an interesting thing when you grow up with it, look at it, see how it's been changing, listen to your parents and grandparents talk about it, and see how other people interact, and you're just like, you know what? Why the fuck is this even a thing when it should never have been? And by that I mean like just debates on religion. Like, who cares? Just pay your taxes and go to work. It shouldn't matter how you pray. It shouldn't matter what you believe in as long as you're paying your taxes. Yeah. What's your views on all this fun bullshit?
I'd like to talk more about kind of how my upbringing this. We're both raised in the Roman Catholic tradition. First, before I start regarding the fact that I'm of my Catholic upbringing, I just want to point out that Catholics are Christians. Not only that, but we're the first Christians. Like, the Catholic Church is the first Christian church. It's the Christian church where all other Christian churches spun off from or deviated from. Like, we're the origin point of the worship of Christ. I don't know why people don't understand that. I think I've said this before, that I'm a lapsed Catholic, so it's not even like I care that deeply about differences in doctrine or whatever, but just historical accuracy. I don't get where people have this thing of like, well, Catholics are not really Christians. I'm like, you came from us, motherfucker. We came first. If you have problems, I understand like having problems with the Catholic Church, which there are many problems with the church over the course of history, and many reasons why people wanted to go away from it. But come on, like, don't take that. Don't try to be like, well, you're not even about Christ. Yeah, we are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, the church is about Christ as much as you are. Oh, what? We have a thing for also respecting Jesus' mom? Yeah, we love our mommies. You have a problem with that?
We're also more organized and know how to listen to orders.
Yeah, we're very archaic and organizationally structured, very centralized, which is why, it's a big deal when when we bring in another papa to run our whole church, and it's like a big deal worldwide. No one gives a who's running the Presbyterian church. That I don't know. Is there a central president? No one even cares to like who's the next Mormon president, even though they have like a centralized structure, kind of like we do. Except, well, actually, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to be nice and not go there. So I was baptized into the church, and I was, as my family tells it, I was dropped into the pool of the baptismal water. It wasn't just draped over my head. I was just like dropped in, butt naked.
Yep, the right way.
And I was apparently very cool with it as a baby. So, and my sister went through the same thing. Both did the Sunday school during church thing, which as a kid, you don't really internalize any of that, except you get to do crafts projects. And the Sunday schools they weren't run by like real accredited teachers. It's always like somebody's mom or grandma that volunteered to do that. Somebody that's just so in love with Christ that wants to spread it to the children. And
cute girl who's like, you know.
So, and then I did the 2 years of communion, communion 1, communion 2, which led to me dressing up in a suit and all the girls dressing up in wedding dresses, which, you know, it didn't occur to me until I was much older how weird that is that the little girls, the little 7 and 8 year olds are in wedding dresses. But
With a veil, like a legit veil and everything.
you know, but we went through like 2 years of what was basically like slightly more intensive Sunday school, except it was like on a school day, but later in the afternoon, so it was after school. You know, in my head, I just kind of went with it because that's what my mom wanted. To me, I was just doing something, and as I got older, it really became like I'm kind of doing this for mom. It's not even that I actively didn't believe in any of it. I didn't have a rationale to care one way or another. It's just a thing that I did.
Yeah.
And actually, I would say the most thought I ever put into thinking about like the biblical aspects of anything. The first time I ever like really thought critically of any of it was when my dad took me to school, because he would drive me to school. He played the Jesus Christ Superstar soundtrack one day. He decided to show that to me. And that was like my first true exposure, my first true exposure to Broadway musicals, my introduction to Andrew Lloyd Webber. That was kind of a revelation for me, because now all this like Jesus stuff, because really, like, what do you really know about Jesus as like public school Catholic kid? He was born on Christmas. Not really on Christmas, but we celebrate it on Christmas, and that's why we celebrate Christmas. And you already like Christmas, so you go along with it. You're like, yeah. And for me, it was extra special because the first time I learned about the story of the birth of Christ, my sister was about to be born in a month. So.
Oh, that's right. You told me this. Like, it was like timing. It was good
so,
timing.
like, I didn't really get what made Jesus so special, the whole Messiah, Son of God angle, but I was about to have a baby, and I'm being inundated with a story of the super special baby, which in turn just made my incoming baby sister special too. So this is all a vibe. It's all vibes when you're a kid. You don't really understand any of it substantively. And for me, I didn't really get it substantively until I listened to Jesus Christ Superstar, and I'm like, oh, Jesus was probably seen as like a revolutionary figure, even if he didn't see himself that way. And I kind of understand why first of all, who hated him and why they might have hated him, because he was a threat to the existing power structures. And of course, the musical did the radical thing and made Judas a sympathetic character, where it's like, well, maybe he had an understandable reason for why he might have wanted to why he betrayed Christ. Maybe he thought he got a little too big for his britches there. It was fascinating. It was like, suddenly Jesus became real for me. Ironically, ironic, I know. And that musical was written by an atheist, but it was like, oh shit, this stuff makes sense now. And the Bible and everything else in the Bible is like all coming together for me and making sense. And I did not get that from going to my catechism courses.
So what you're saying is, it was like, instead of having the glasses, like, a pair of glasses put on you moment, you got to see through the holes in his hand, and you're like, oh, I get it.
So, yeah, I did that, and then I think the part where I drifted away was when... No, I know the part where I drifted away was when I did confirmation. Because First Communion is the process you go for in order to be qualified to take the body of Christ, which literally in the church translates to like you get to eat the wafers that taste like cardboard. Symbolically, you are consuming the body of Christ per symbolically or literally, however you want to think about it, as he did in the Last Supper. This bread will be my body, the wine will be my blood. Confirmation's about... I'm going to ask this as a question because it wasn't thoroughly explained to me when I went through this. Confirmation's about being able to drink the blood of Christ, right? AKA take the wine. Okay.
Yeah, take the wine.
Really shows how much I cared about this that I still don't remember. But I went through confirmation, and that's what you go through. First communion, you go through it as like a first grader and a second grader. I was a sophomore and junior when I went through confirmation. My mom had me do this at a different church. I don't know why. I don't know if somebody told her that like the confirmation courses at this church were better than the one at the church we normally went to. And I was doing it with and it wasn't just like I wasn't alone. Like I was doing it with someone who was in my Boy Scout troop and was like a neighbor and I knew for a while. So it was kind of like we were doing it together. But and maybe it was because we were at a new church. My mom told me, don't tell the teachers that your dad isn't Catholic. Because my dad's not Catholic. He was raised a Presbyterian.
God. Yeah, okay.
And my impression of him is that I feel it, maybe he doesn't agree with this, but my impression of his spirituality is that he's more of a skeptic, like an agnostic skeptic. I heard the story of like when he and my mom got married, he had to make an agreement with her priest. It was a pretty, priest was very hawkish on this. It's like, well, your kids have to be raised Catholic. And that was a compromise he made. Okay, well, if we have children, they will be raised in the Catholic Church, and they'll be raised in my wife's church, and, we went along with that. And he didn't, at least not openly in front of me or my sister, he didn't, like, openly oppose, like, any of my Catholic teachings on some ideological grounds or whatever. But, my dad was someone I could go to. I felt like I can go to for any instances of skepticism and critical thought in relation to, anything spiritual. I think my mom was worried that, like, I was going to be judged harshly or treated differently if I told them that I didn't have a Catholic father. And that put me in a really bad mindset throughout the whole 2-year process. And what made it worse was that my teacher was a gosh darn zealot. Like, my mom would say, I think he might be, like, he might have been raised from like the Opus Dei movement, and if you're Catholic, you should know what that is. He was basically like a fundy evangelical, but he was Catholic. And he was like probably 2 steps away from saying, I think Vatican II was a mistake. I don't see what the big deal is about. He didn't say this, but I had a vibe that maybe somehow deep down he thought, well, maybe we should blame all the Jews for the death of Christ, like we used to in our church doctrine. That kind of thing.
Them damn lawyers. That's just,
masturbation bad. Homosexuality is not okay. There's a dark good reason why women can't be priests. It was pretty bad, and I think for me, I was starting to like pay attention to current events, the world of politics. And, I was getting exposed to the idea that there are really evil people that use my broader religion, the worship, adherence to the teachings of Christ, Christianity. They use that to be hateful, to seize power, and to do horrible things. Republicans. And I just kind of thought, like, well, I'm a Catholic in California. Those people are like fundy Baptists, evangelical. Those are different movements. I'm insulated from that. That's not gonna be home for me. Therefore, I feel comfortable like still being in the Catholic Church. I'm not gonna experience that. And then I got that in the form of my teacher. My teacher was one of those people. And he even encouraged us to like evangelize. Like, go out and spread the word of Christ. I even challenged him on that because I was like, I went to a Catholic I went to a public school, and I had people from a bunch of religions, different Christian movements, Judaism, atheism, gays, and I was in theater and choir, for God's sake. They were queers everywhere. You can't escape the gays and lesbians if you're in the show business fields.
Like who, Travis? I never got that from anyone.
And these were kids I was friends with, I worked with, and I was like, it would be rude of me to like say, hey, you need Jesus or you need hope. Like, we all hated those people. Like, I knew some kids that were like that. We hated them. They were annoying. People didn't like those kids, and I was not going to be one of them. And I challenged them on that. It's like, well, they have a right to believe what they believe, and I'm not gonna disrespect that. And he actually legit told me, like, well, maybe you should think about who you're friends with. This is my confirmation teacher at a Catholic school. And I know maybe there's some Catholics listening to this who are like, well, my confirmation teacher wasn't like that. Maybe my wife always tells me she went to an actual Catholic school, which, unlike me, in which all my teachings were done by somebody's mom or somebody's dad, she had actual accredited teachers and people within the church, like nuns and priests that probably oversaw her actual teachings. That's great. I'm glad your experience was better than mine. But in going through this process of supposedly making me more committed to the church, and I even went through the ceremony, it really pushed me away from it. Yeah. And it was kind of like, looking back on it, I think what that did to me was like, even my own faith can be used for bad.
As a weapon.
As a weapon. And to create all the problems of the world. And it's like, how could I rationalize the idea of like, I need religion to be a good person because people are using my religion to be a bad person. This is the thing I always hate about a lot of Christians. They think their big dunk against atheists is like, well, you need God to be moral. You need, like, the 10 Commandments were passed down by God, and you cannot have morality without that. And it's like, well, if you actually look at the 10 Commandments, they're, with the exception of, like, well, I am the Lord your God, you can find pretty practical secular reasons for all of those. Like, thou shalt not kill. Yeah, in a functioning society, it would really help if people didn't murder each other, You
could argue that. You can argue two things with that. One, yeah, but the majority of Catholics and Christians don't even follow the 10 Commandments. And two, the Byzantine Empire had a list of rules and laws that pretty much worked really well. Mm-hmm. It goes both ways.
I mean, look at this. Like, you shall not commit adultery. Yeah, I don't think cheating on your spouse is a good thing. I think that just intensifies irreconcilable problems with your marriage. It makes everybody's lives more miserable, and nobody seems to win with that.
Plus, you're a piece of shit because you risk the chance of giving your spouse an STD.
Yeah. I don't need because God to justify why adultery is a bad thing. You shall not steal. I think everyone has a right to personal property. And yeah, I don't want people stealing my stuff. And I don't think I should steal your stuff or other people's stuff. I think I respect my right to personal property, and I think that right should be respected. So yeah, practical. You don't need God to justify that.
You know what you could say? Even our own jobs say, "Don't steal company time."
They don't. Yeah, and they don't say because God told you.
No, it's because we're a fucking corporation.
Yeah. You shall not bear false witness. Yeah, or like, don't give false testimony. Don't lie about somebody. Again, that's just being a dick.
Travis, most marriages, you have to get by through lying.
Honor your father and mother. I mean, yeah, so long as your father and mother aren't abusing you, and therefore disgracing their duty as parents. If your parents are doing their job, yeah, you should obey them and trust in their upbringing.
And just hang out with them.
Yeah.
I love clothes shopping with my mom. It's fun.
Keep the Sabbath holy. I mean, maybe you don't literally do that. Some people work on a Saturday, some people work on a Sunday, but
I'll say this, it's pretty hard to not work on a Sunday when there's something called Sunday pay.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm working on Sunday.
Yeah. And my favorite football team certainly doesn't keep the Christian Sabbath, because
no sports team does.
And the college teams don't keep the Jewish Sabbath or Shabbat, so
no sports teams. Hey, hell,
except for the ones that play on night games.
How do you argue that when you're literally working on us? You know?
I mean, yeah, the only like, you shall not have other gods. Okay, whatever. Like that's a moot point for the secular talk.
Well, here's the thing: everyone breaks that because the core concept of that is not to follow another leader. Okay, so don't subscribe to YouTube. That's following. Don't subscribe to Twitter. That's following.
Don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for anyone. And
Yeah.
all of that is like, yeah, but then society starts to fall apart with certain things. Like, we need to vote. We need to follow a manager. We need to, like, kind of have, a local leader. That's following. YouTube. I follow this guy because guess what? I'm getting cooking tips, and every video is helping me with my cooking. It's like it's kind of hard to do nowadays.
It's kind of like, yeah, at what point does that cross the line into idolatry?
Yeah.
And that sounds like a very debatable question. But anyway, so...
Don't fuck your neighbor's wife.
So I'm at this point in my life where I call myself a lapsed Catholic or an agnostic from a Catholic framework. Catholicism was my upbringing, but in deep down, I haven't subscribed to nor subscribed against the belief that there is a God. Now, that not to be confused with atheism. Atheism is meaning you really don't believe in the existence of a God. But agnosticism is more like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm open.
Come talk to me, damn it! Don't yell at me. Talk to me.
I'm open. I'm at a point where I don't feel like I need spiritual worship to help with the, lead a good life or be in touch with my inner self. That's another thing, a way I view religion is, and I always viewed this kind of growing up, that like it's like a way of getting in touch with your, inner self and getting your moral and personal bearings straight. And
I mean, meditating is what you're kind of saying.
It could be meditating, it could be going to therapy,
journaling.
but it's like something very internal, which is why I don't buy. One reason why I never bought into the idea of religion being used as a cudgel, even though for power over people, even though historically it's been used that for centuries, because it's like, how could you force convert somebody? If it's not something that they can accept internally, like you can't force someone to do that. It's either they bring themselves to do that or they don't. And right now I'm at a point where I don't anymore. And maybe that'll change in the future, but it's not that at the moment.
And the whole point is that's your journey, so who gives a shit? In a sense, like it's your journey.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
It's a very individualistic view I have, and I feel like that's how I've been brought up. It's how I've been made to understand that.
You've been brought up to be an individual? What? It's almost like you're brought up to be an American.
But yeah, if my old confirmation teacher is listening to this, thanks for wrecking my spirituality, you fat, miserable fucker. I hope you're not teaching those courses anymore. I hope you're just going back to being a normal churchgoer and an aging dad. I hope that's all you're doing. Because you did a lot of harm, sir. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. What about you?
Well, for me,
What's your life
same
story?
thing, Roman Catholic. I'll say, again, like you, baptized the right way. Butt naked in the pool of water. There's a picture of
The dunk take.
there's a picture of my naked baby ass being held by my Nino, and he's wearing a suit, and I'm like in the water crying, like above the water crying. Yeah, I got dunked. Yeah, like that's how it should be. I think for just the baptism part, because the whole point is your whole body.
Yeah.
Not just the forehead. My son's got the forehead because that's just how the ceremonies are nowadays. They've all changed. It's not just depending on who you are or what. No, it's not depending on what your denomination is. It's just everyone gets the forehead only. But let's see. Baptized. I never went to a Catholic school of any kind. I was always in a public school. I went to church here and there, just not on a pun intended religious. Lack of a better word, on a religious basis every Sunday. My parents worked on Sundays growing up. Before they found their steady careers. And early in my life, my parents would be working on Sundays. They worked at Nordstrom's. Guess what Nordstrom's is? It's open.
It's open on Sundays.
Yeah. So we didn't go to church regularly on a Sunday, but it worked. Or one worked. And if one worked, well, I'm going to stay home and wait for my spouse with the kid. So that was me. Never got communion, never got confirmation. It's interesting what you said about someone who kind of made you go like, whoa, this is wrong. For me, I didn't get my communion. All my cousins got my communion, my younger cousins, my older cousins, and after my younger cousins got it, it kind of, for a slight bit, became a bit of a point of like contention on both sides of my family that I was the only one not communion or confirmation. And not in a bad way, more of like a, hey, when's he going to do it? Hey, when's he going to do it? Hey, is he going to do it? And my cousins did, like, yeah, you should do it. I'm like this. Okay, I don't see the need to. I just never did. And my parents did. It's funny, at a young age, yes, 7 or 8, my parents left it up to me. Do you want to or not? And I sat with it, and I'm like, no. And I think the thing that forced it for me to be saying no, and yeah, it was a bit of a force, is my cousin, one of my cousins was basically bribing me to do it. So when I was younger, I was really into Pokemon on the Game Boy. And I only had Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy Color. My cousin had the Game Boy Advance, and she had Pokemon Crystal. Ooh. And she wrote up, I'm not joking, she made up a contract saying if I went to communion, I could have this game for 3 weeks. And in my head, being a kid, I knew I could beat that game in 3 weeks. But in my head, it told me, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is wrong. Something's wrong with how religion is being taught.
Yeah.
If I'm being bribed.
You like Pokemon can't be as important as a spiritual upbringing.
Spiritual journey.
Yeah.
So I was like, no. I said no to her, and I was pretty pissed about that because I'm like, I always asked her if I could borrow that game. And she kept saying, no, 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 this is mine. No, no, you might break it. No, no. And then look what happened.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah. I was like, I'm not buying that. And it's not like I have resentment towards my cousin. It's not at all. It's just that's what told me that something was wrong with. To me, there's nothing wrong with religion. It's wrong with how it's being taught and structured and organized in the hands of man. So never did. And you grow up and you just question it. My dad and mom always told me to question things and keep your head on a swivel and look at it from this way. One thing I think for me, growing up with how my thoughts on religion was formed, it was through jokes. Okay, I was kind of cracking a couple of jokes when you were explaining your story. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what came from me of one, if our TV shows are able to not make fun of but have fun with it, there's something to it. There's always truth in humor. And the biggest examples would be how The Simpsons and Family Guy went with it. I think Ned Flanders is a great character. I sometimes side with Homer. That guy's fucking annoying. And here's the thing, Flanders never pressed it upon people. Flanders never forced his religion on people. It's just the way he was dude, you kind of got to calm down.
He uses his faith as a flex.
Yeah. Even though he literally is ripped.
At least I have Jesus.
Yeah. Even though he's the one who does his taxes 2 months before everyone, he had a nuclear fallout bunker. His kids were top of the class. He had a great marriage. He was literally shredded. Yeah. There was just something that was you were laughing at Flanders.
Yes.
And there was a reason. And you also were laughing at their priest. I forget his name, but the guy with the Elvis haircut. Mm-hmm. And then with Family Guy, it was the cutaway jokes they would do. Okay, here's the best example. Peter was doing something, and then he said
You hear me, Meg? If you come out of this, I am going to treat you like a princess for the rest of your life. Because I've been a worse father than Abraham.
And it cuts to Abraham and his son walking down the mountain. And they're just walking, and then his son's like,
You want to tell me what the fuck that was?
And it's funny because it's true. You're like, hey, what was that conversation like with your dad afterwards? Or here's another one. It's the 3 wise men walking to see Jesus. Mm-hmm. And they're walking in the desert. There's the camp. And the best part about this, it's kind of a pan shot. So it's not up close. It's a little pan. There's a little the scenery, the desert, the guy holding the camera while they're walking.
So what'd you get him? Gold?
Gold? I thought we agreed on a $5 limit here.
Yeah, I just got him a crappy little bottle of myrrh.
Hello, frankincense. You always do this.
Okay, look. We'll put everything together and put all our names on it.
No!
That's so cheap. I mean, this guy
no!
is insane.
No.
I mean, right?
So I those jokes are great, and I always felt didn't you always feel like you were discouraged from making those jokes? Because it's kind of the Catholic Church is so, we are going through a process of worship, and we have a very strict way of going about it. everyone has to be stoic at all times, forever and ever.
And you're right, because the thing is, it's just like if you can't make fun of yourself, there's something wrong. And the thing was, and this wasn't like making fun of the jokes I grew up with, and with coming from TV shows and having fun with the Catholic faith. It wasn't saying like, this is stupid, huh? It's more of like it kind of makes you think, right?
Yeah.
And then the whole point for me was like, okay, when you think about it, you have questions. And the problem is, you're not allowed to have questions. And I'm like, well, as growing up more and more, I'm like this, yeah, but I'm an American. I'm supposed to ask questions. I'm supposed to demand answers. And the big thing for me as a kid was just like, something's wrong. And by wrong, there was nothing wrong with praying to someone for good fortune, praying to someone to help calm your nerves, praying to Jesus and God, the Holy Spirit, to just give you some comfort. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you look at the history of man with religion in his hands, it's like, wow, a lot of people died. A lot of people really died, and a lot of kids got raped.
It's like we haven't been really good at using this for peace on earth.
Goodwill towards men. Well, because I've seen for many years, I'm almost like a couple of decades, I feel like I've always had this notion of like, yeah, no, religion's like communism. The idea is great. In the hands of man, it's fucking awful. On an average whole, there are some priests, preachers, and ministers who are doing the actual job. And the ones who aren't, we know that because they're on TV all the time.
Yes.
And they have a very famous name.
Yeah.
And they're on, ABC 7 in the morning. And it's like, wow, it's a lot of microphones and stage lighting and makeup. And those heels are really nice. And that's a fucking expensive-ass three-piece suit. And there's camera work like I'm watching a Scorsese movie.
You guys are not getting taxed at all, are you?
And for me, that was me growing up. And I'm still no communion, no confirmation. I still, when I go to church and you stand up to receive the wafer and the thing, I cross my hands. And to me, that's enough because I'm holding my heart. And also baptism to me, for example, having two sons who are baptized, you, by the way, were a part of that ceremony
Yes.
for one of them because you're God's son. Do you know who baptized my sons? A pastor. Not a priest. I'm Catholic.
not a
Nope,
priest.
that was a Christian pastor.
Yeah.
And there was a reason why, because me and my wife sat down and discussed it, and I said I want my sons being intimate, and this is an intimate moment, really, not to sound like creep or anything. I wanted my sons to be intimately touched by someone I trust, and I trust the way this man goes about it, because he gets it, because he calls out the bullshit, and he's doing the actual what it means, and you know how I know he's doing it? Because he's tired all the time. He's working his ass off, and it's not supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy it, but it seems like it's not supposed to be fun because it's like he's busting his ass off every fucking week for basically the souls of Earth.
I think about the Hebrew word Israel, not the country, the actual literal name Israel, and in Hebrew it translates to he who wrestles with God, which apparently in Judaism, the origin point of all of this Christ stuff for us, or the derision, the point where we derive from. There's like a stronger encouragement, at least in certain movements, of like kind of questioning the will of God and questioning how it's interpreted. There's even an old Jewish saying, you can put two Jews in a room and get 3 arguments out of it, because it's like part of that idea of like questioning things and coming up with different answers and discussing that.
And that's the point, especially I think in this country, because, okay, for example, both my boys got baptized. You know what's interesting about it? One was baptized in the garage, one was baptized in the backyard.
Yeah.
And more so too, I chose the route I went by because I've told you this before. I was at baptism once for one of my second cousins, and I really didn't like what was being said, that you're being baptized because you're getting your citizenship card to get into heaven. That's basically what this priest said, and I was like this, whoa, and for me, I was just like, to me, I always thought baptism was just saying, hey, children are precious. children are beautiful. Basically, children are a message from God that he hasn't lost interest in man, that he hasn't abandoned man. That's what a child is. So let's give the child a shield. That's how I saw baptizing as a kid. It's just protecting the kid from the evils spiritually and fucking physically. That to me, that's all. That's how I was raised, and how I viewed baptism is just, hey, it's a baby. Give him a little extra protection. Give it a little shield.
But archaically, it's like, well, you're blessing the baby against the sin of your parents fucking in order to create you in the first place. Which that's an idea I never really liked. I'm like, no, procreation's a natural thing, and therefore I don't understand why we treat the act of it, even under the approved circumstances of you're married and you're doing it for the purposes of procreation, that there is an inherent sin behind that. No. Never really jived with that idea.
I love having sex with my wife, so fuck that. And no. And hell, I like having, I bet people love having sex with their girlfriends and their boyfriends. It's like, or hey, it's nice I bet people are enjoying having sex with a random stranger at the bar. Who gives a shit? Like, right?
Just be safe.
And the other, no, but you get what I mean, though, right? And the other thing too, the whole wrestling, like you're saying, that's the point of being an American, is questioning and wrestling with ideas and freedom of talking about that. Like, okay, there's two things I think about as an American that I don't agree with what's being pushed and what's also taught in religion that has for sure nothing to do with Jesus. One, the Revolutionary War was us saying, no, I don't agree with God on this one, because a king is godly. A king is divine birth line, divine blood.
Yeah. Or better yet, I don't accept that God chooses. There's only one king, and that's Jesus.
Well, and it's funny, you say that, I'm an American, I don't believe in kings. Yeah. So that there's with the past 5 years, I've been seeing more and more being pushed as like, Christ is king. I've been hearing that and reading that more on social media, and in my head I'm like this: you're an American, I'm an American. We're not supposed to believe in kings. I can't believe in a king.
Also, something that rubs me wrong about Christ as king, to me, it just seems like a very simpleton idea of who Jesus was and how we believe the role of the Messiah to be. And I go back to, I think it was Paul Verhoeven of all people, like the RoboCop director. But he also wrote books, wrote kind of philosophy books, and he wrote this suggestion that there are there's two different types of Christians. The folks that believe in Jesus the teacher, and the folks that believe Jesus rose from the dead. And you can guess which groups of people in your mind are which, but it's kind of like, well, if you believe Jesus rose from the dead and therefore is the Son of God, like that is the proof that he is the Son of God, is the resurrection. Well, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if you actually follow the teachings of Christ, so long as you believe in this one specific factoid, this one specific trivial fact about Jesus just happens to be the Son of God. Your power, your dominion over the world, your actions are justified. But then there's Jesus the teacher, which is, well, who gives a fuck if he's this about his divinity? What did he actually teach us about how to live our lives and as in the modern world? And how should we go forward with that under those teachings? One interesting movement that fascinates me is Christian anarchism, which is a thing. Okay, what's that? It's like, well, it's sort of like, it's anarchism. Which is the belief against existing hierarchies, the rejection of existing hierarchies. Okay. In my opinion, it is the most left wing you can get. And Christian anarchism kind of stems from the idea of like Christ being a proto-anarchistic figure, in that he was opposed to the existing authority. The Roman authority, the existing religious authority of the time. He bucked all those trends. He functioned against those trends.
Oh, okay.
He was by his very nature not an authoritarian figure.
And that's what kings are, authoritarian.
And that's what kings are. That's what the Roman
Also,
Empire
too,
was.
he was crowned a king as a mockery while he was about to die.
Yes, the crown of thorns, which we now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was basically, and it's to simplify it, two cops being assholes, and they just put fucking thorns on.
Yeah, and it was mockery, but now it's part of the symbol. It's like how it's like when you deconstruct the nature of the cross. It's like, wait, that was an execution device. Yeah. But you see that image a lot as this like holy image, and it goes back to this joke that I don't know if I made this joke to you. I probably have, but it's like, if Christ was instead hanged on a noose, churches would have like freaking slip knots everywhere instead of the cross. But
It's funny too. Bill Hicks made a joke about that, saying like,
a lot of Christians wear crosses around their necks. You think when Jesus comes back, he really wants to see a fucking cross. Ow. Maybe why he hadn't shown yet, And
I know my mom, if she's listening to this, she probably just rolled her eyes at all of that. But it's like, but this goes back to like when I listen to Jesus Christ Superstar, and suddenly I got to think of Christ as a real person, and that maybe some of that stuff did happen, and it's not just stories we're told as kids. No. It's like, oh no, this shit's real. Oh, yeah. Some of it is real anyway.
I believe he walked this earth. I believe he's real. Like to me, he was real. The dude was a real. It's just everything after his death. It's like, come on, guys, we're just muddling it up now, and just like, how do we have like how many different types of like ways to pray to Jesus? Like you got Catholics, Irish Catholic, Roman Catholic, Hispanic Catholic. You got the ones who do the Virgin Mary. You got the ones who do. You got Baptists, white and black, because there's a difference.
Do
you
I
got
have
evangelicals. You got this.
Do I have to always put my hands together? Like, is that the activation code to get in touch with God, or could I just like slouch on my couch and then just talk and assume that he's listening?
Or when you're actually kneeling and you're doing the thing where you're like the thinking man's pose kneeling. It's the same. I see it all the time.
Yeah, the Tim Tebow.
Yeah, because when you say like, okay, the musical Jesus Christ Superstar made you start to really think more about religion and just like thinking about
certainly
it.
About my religion.
Well,
yeah.
thinking about, for me, jokes is what made me think more about it, because I'm like, well, there's truth in humor. I've always at a young age I've known like there's truth in humor. I like jokes. The way South Park has made fun with had fun with Jesus. He's sometimes used as like a SEAL Team 6 to wipe out terrorists. I swear. The Simpsons, any adult cartoon that's had Jesus in there as a character, it makes you go like, well, I'm laughing because there's truth. You laugh because it's true. You don't laugh because someone just pulled something out of their ass. You're laughing because they're commenting on something that's a real thing, and it makes you go like this.
And what's the old saying that parody is the highest form of flattery?
Yeah. Like here's the best one. Mel Brooks.
I thought you were going to say Mel Gibson. I'm like, whoa.
He made a good movie. I know. Mel Brooks, there's two instances where and it's all in the same movie, History of the World Part 1, for religion. One of the best musical numbers to me ever written, and I don't think there's anything that can top it. The Inquisition, let's begin. The Inquisition, watch out, sin. It's a fun, jolly musical number about torturing Jews.
Yeah.
And it's like... it's sung by a Jew.
Yes.
Playing the infamous Takanada, and guess what? Let's be honest, you can't talk about anything, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, damn, like, it makes you kind of think, like, yeah. And then the other one, The Last Supper.
Leave us alone!
Go!
All right. Jesus.
Yes.
What?
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 Yes.
Jesus.
What?
Yes.
What?
You said what?
What?
Nothing.
Like, the humor makes you go like, yeah, come on, think about it. Like, it's kind of weird, right? Or like, here's the best one. Oh, the whole part, Jesus, how pure and everything he was. I'm like, yeah, but his closest female friend was an ex-prostitute. Mm-hmm. Come on. Nothing wrong with it. She was apparently the most beautiful woman on the face of the earth. Come on! His apostles were all what, thieves and criminals of various likes and forms. It's like, you don't think they taught him how to play a simple game of 5-card poker, like Texas Hold'em, how to throw dice. Also, too, it's like I bet you kind of have to have a sense of humor if you're doing all that walking and teaching. What was South Park did a funny ass one here's a great one. Jesus had to come down and help Santa through a tough time at Christmas, and they ended up doing cocaine together. It's like, what's wrong with that? Really, you know what I mean?
Sure, Jesus could handle cocaine. I don't think it'll fuck him up.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, just here's a good one with God and Family Guy. When something good happened to someone, someone's like, "Oh God, thank God I'm not dead," right? Pans up to heaven, and you see, no. You see Krishna doing this. Oh, okay. And God's like, "Hey man, no. Hey, it's okay. I saw you. I know that was your miracle." And he's like, and Krishna's all like this. No, that's cool, man. It's cool.
Oh, Krishna got his feelings hurt.
Another God one, which was funny. I don't know why. It just kills me. It was God in bed with a woman. No, hold on.
What show is this?
Hold on. It's Family Guy.
It's Family Guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hold on. And he's like, he's about to have sex, and he's like, and you see the woman holding up a condom, looking at him. He's like this. Come on, babe, it's my birthday. But here's the thing, though. It's having fun with God and Jesus, and it's always made me think like, okay, if you're having fun with it, there's a reason why. Let's talk about it. Now, I've never gone into the way of the way George Carlin goes about religion is just such an asshole.
Like, we get it. You're an atheist. Ooh.
Dick. Like that in one interview he had where he said anyone who has to kneel down and any adult who kneels down and praises some imaginary thing is a fucking child. I'm like, dude, like who hurt you? Like, no.
Seriously.
No, the point of religion is whatever your religion is, by the way, not just Christian or Catholic and Jew, Muslim, the Buddhists, the Hindus, Mormons, Quakers, even the Mennonites. It's just you're wanting a little comfort and you're lost. Yeah. You just want a little comfort while you're lost. It's like a flashlight when you're a child. You just want a nightlight. What's wrong with an adult asking for a nightlight in the dark? Mm-hmm. And that's how religion needs to be taught. Instead, as we've seen on the news with your Joel, what was his name? Joel Steen, whatever that.
Joel Epstein. No, Joel Osteen.
Okay, Joel Osteen. No, hey, I don't even know. I'm glad I don't know his name really well, but him.
The Joel Osteen files. Trump's name is in there.
But like him and people. You laugh. Hey, but here you go. Hey, you're laughing because it's true. People like him who are like bastardizing something positive, and also bastardizing something that someone gruesomely died for.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that. Religion needs to be a very much at minimum, shaking hands. Mm-hmm. It'd be nice if we were all hugging each other in this country, but people will find that gay. Literally. It'd be nice if when the Boston Globe came out with that one Spotlight article that those fucking priests were publicly executed. Mm-hmm. No, they're just moved around. And it kind of makes you see more and more, like when I go to I went to a church in Los Al San Ernest for many years, just because when you're in the Los Alamitos school district, it's just that's the church in Los Al. You notice they're like, who's the new guy? What happened to the old guy, the priest?
Yeah.
Why? And then it makes you think of stories of like when priests just suddenly move on. Why?
Yeah.
And you go to other churches and you spend time there, and then someone gets rotated out. Why?
I've had that once or twice at like my church where there's like a priest that everyone loved, and then a new guy comes in. And we don't like the new guy as much, and I know another family who's not going to church right now. They had a Catholic church that they went to for many years, and then they got a new priest in there that was different than the old priest, and the new priest did some things that people didn't like to try to assert his authority, and they're like, all right, we're not going to that church anymore.
It then also makes you think, what happened to the old priests? Like, either good or bad or wrong. Like, and it's any church that shows that, or it's like, it comes down to, it's just, there's nothing wrong, like you said, questioning, wrestling with it. That also makes you not an idiot to question and wrestle it. And also, too, the whole point is, an American is, I will always question with authority. The whole point is, I'm always going to question authority because I'm an American. So, no, Christ is not king. I don't believe in kings. That's the whole point of what hundreds of thousands of people died for back in 1776. Like, no.
Christ is not a king. He's a teacher.
He's a fucking carpenter.
Yeah.
He's remember Indiana Jones? He's a fucking carpenter.
The crappy looking cup.
The shittiest looking clay ass fucking cup. And that's why that fucking Nazi died, because he picked the king cup. No, folks, there's nothing wrong with questioning it, whatever your religion is. And I know we're just two Catholics, but other religions too. It's like, just don't be an asshole. It's just the whole point of this, and that's how it should be, especially just in this country. I know the Eastern countries across the Atlantic are the old school traditional. That's them. We're in America.
Yeah.
The whole point is that we can sit at the table and break bread with a Muslim, a Jew, a Mennonite, a Hindu, a Baptist, a communist, a fascist, a socialist at the same table while our kids are playing in the living room.
Yeah.
The whole point is that's what America is. I've noticed, you see it more and more, this not division of religion, this argument and debate over, like, not even like, hey, Jew, you're not praying right. It's like, hey, my fellow Catholic, since you're an Irish Catholic, you're doing it wrong. Or since you're an evangelical, that's the way to do it. Or fucking Quakers. No, you know what I mean? Like, it's like almost like it's this inter-battle happening amongst just individual religions amongst their own. It's like the Orthodox and the modern are fighting each other more and more, it seems like, every day in this country. I'm like, how to do it right, when it's like, the only way to really do it right in my head is just keep it to yourself quietly while you're doing it in your head, and maybe you'll feel better. It's like taking a breath before you move on with your life.
It's a way to
make money.
It's a way to assert power.
I see it as a way to make money.
Well, money can be power. It's a form of power. It's a way to assert power. And so long as you invoke the man in the sky looking down, saying, well, he would want you to do things my way. It's a great way to get people to do horrible things.
But it's also like, fuck that, because you know why? Masturbation's kind of fun once in a while. Having premarital sex is great.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having a baby out of wedlock? Really, if you're two adults with kids, hey, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn are doing it right with, 3 or 4 kids? Hell, one of his kids is a fucking Marvel actor now.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's an example of, quote unquote bastards having good lives.
Yeah, it's a good thing both their parents had money and stability.
I'll say this, hey, Luke Skywalker's a bastard. That was a sham marriage.
Yeah.
Look, guess what? And what did Luke Skywalker do? He destroyed the Death Star. I'm just saying. I mean, Jon Snow saved the Westeros. Wasn't there a bastard? There's a bastard in some of the Shakespearean plays, and they do good shit. It's crazy how the whole point of Jesus is to be basically nice and cool to each other, and yet you see so much venom and vile. And it's crazy how what makes, I guess, one really start to question and think about the religion is like this, damn, but why are there so many like different subsections of this one thing when it's just one thing? There's 4 different types of Catholics. It's like, what the fuck? We're all Catholic. Who gives a shit?
And a lot of that stuff is just regional. It's like because you mentioned Irish, Spanish, and
Roman, Latin, like the little argument.
It's based on like where they live, and where those come from are kind of dependent on the region anyway.
But when people don't leave it at that and leave it more of like yeah, that's right, this is what I am. It's like, dude, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. It's not how it's supposed to be.
And again, it's like goes back to like you're taught to pray with your hands clasped together. No one really tells you why. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure if I go on Google, I can find the reason. I don't remember anyone telling me the reason. And if it did, it probably didn't make sense anyway. But that's why I made that joke of like, is this some sort of activation switch? Am I tapping, when I do this, I'm clapping my hands clasped together right now. Am I tapping into some sort of celestial power in a very literal way by just doing that? Is that an anatomical part of putting my hands together?
Energize.
It's in the same way, yeah, like in Star Trek where they pull out, am I tapping my communicator, right? Or could I pray in a bunch of different bodily configurations? Can I pray doing a handstand? Some people are very comfortable doing a handstand. This is maybe that makes them more spiritually connected. Is that, who's to say that their signal of communication to God is any better or worse?
There's a comedy movie from the 1930s called, I think it's Tuesdays with Father. You ever heard of that one?
No.
Old movie. And the dad, the wife finds out that the dad has never been baptized, and he just is like, just never was. Who gives a shit? Like, I'm a businessman, I'm a money man. Like, I don't care. I'm taking care of my family. That's all that matters. And God and I have an understanding. And they're at church, and everyone's, kneeling down, praying, and he's just kind of sitting there with his forearm on his knee, just thinking down like this. And the mom's like, tell your dad to get on his fucking knees. Like, tell dad to get on his knees. And he's like, why? I'm still talking to him. I'm talking to him the same way you are. And you know what's funny? The dad, because he's a total American, he's like this, well, I kneel for no man. I'm an American. I'm a man. Men don't kneel for each other. I shake his hand.
No gods.
No, he's like, no, he has a god.
Or I have a god, I have no king.
Yeah, he's like, I shake the hand. He's almost like this. I think if you ever met God, that dude would shake his hand. He would not get on his knees. He'd be like this. Oh, yes. Let's talk about some things.
What brings you here, good sir?
There seems to be no right way. Unless, I think all that matters is just if you're just go the quote unquote goodness in your heart, who gives a fuck?
One thing I always think about when it comes to religion is like what brings people in or out of faith, it's never the faith itself. It's never like the literal spirituality. Although, when it comes to people that convert to something, they would probably say otherwise, but it's always something emotional. If people leave a faith, it's because they had a tragedy in their life that gave them a faith crisis, or the place of worship they were at, something bad happened there, or some sort of scandal, or they took issue with the religious leader. If it's someone converting to something, well, maybe they came out of a bad place like that, but that faith or whatever was open to them and gave them something to fixate themselves out of their problems. You see a lot of like converts to usually Christianity in the United States. They're like former drug abusers or alcoholics. A lot of
survivors.
A lot of a lot of 12-step programs have some sort of faith component to them. And hey, if believing in God and being closer to God is what's keeping you from literally poisoning yourself, by all means, live a healthier life. No matter what you're doing at that church, I'm sure you're probably living a healthier life than you were on the bottle or through the needle. If that's what it took to get you out of it, by all means. But it's never because I stopped believing because I found that the text is not scientifically true, that the earth was not created in literal 7 24-hour days. It's never that. Nor is it, well, because I do believe that the earth was created in a literal 7 24-hour days and it made sense to me and that's why I believe. It's never that. It's because it made you feel something that you needed to feel in whatever moment in your life. And that's something that, like, I don't think a lot of people, especially religious people, want to hear, but it's true. It's very, very true.
I like how you brought about the 7 days. I remember hearing a joke where it was, God created the earth and on the seventh day he rested.
Yes.
Isn't it kind of weird how on the seventh day we bug him? It's like
we bug him with our prayers.
Like who bugs a friend on their day off?
He has time now. He has time to listen.
But that's like the joke, and then it goes further. It's like, and whenever you see him on his day off, he's always asking for money. Does he have bad managerial skills? I just remember hearing that joke of like, he's always asking for money. Not very good with money.
Who said that?
I think it was George Carlin.
Oh, it was George Carlin. Okay.
Here's one before we wrap it up, because the big battle too is like, with religion, I've heard of like why you not need it, have to have it. Well, what happens after you die? Like, you can't just be this, and it's a mixture of like, well, why not? Why? What if it is? Who cares? And then two, well, only the dead know the truth, so I'm not gonna be burdened with that worry. When it comes, it comes. Well, aren't you afraid of going to heaven or hell? I'm like this. I led a good life. Chips fall where they fall, and if he's omniscient, why can't I have a discussion about him where I go afterwards? When it comes to the afterlife and the big debate of like, heaven is real and the way it is, or hell's real and this and that, and it's like, well, one, it seems like hell is empty and all the demons are here, and two,
hell is other people, as I've heard once.
and two, for the afterlife, I see it as two ways. You go to heaven and hell, or hell, depending on how your loved ones think about you when they bury you. That'll decide.
I actually read a blog post it was written by a rabbi. Because one thing that fascinates me is the fact that, like, in Judaism, again, the place where Christianity spun off from, they don't believe in hell, or at least not in the same way we do, as this, like, it's only one, or it's like an either or, and it's permanent. Yeah. I heard one rabbi rationalize hell as, well, maybe it's like if you're a sock inside a washing machine. If you're a dirty sock inside a washing machine, yeah, it's kind of a terrible experience being tossed around like that. But you know what? You come out clean on the other end.
And you get to go in the dryer next.
And I don't know if that's like, and I don't remember the name of the person who wrote that, but it was just a cursory Google search that I did, and I'm not saying that is like emblematic of like all Judaism, a religion I am not familiar with intimately. As I understand, there's competing schools of thought. But it does bring up this idea of, like, was hell something invented as a control tool? And that if there really is a bad place, maybe it is a purgatory to get us cleaned up and ready to enter the pearly gates. And it's not like you're stuck here forever. And you will go on thousands of years regretting your mistakes that you made in a short blip of time. It's a little much. But I guess if you accept that, gives you a reason, gives you a way to control people.
I always like the idea of the afterlife being what Gandalf said in The Return of the King.
Death is just another path, one that we all must take. The grey rain curtain of this world rolls back, and all turns to silver glass. And then you see it, white shores, and beyond, a far green country, and a swift sunrise.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy about it. It's almost like, sounds like what retirement is, what we all strive for, through our hard work, and sometimes we, not do something bad at the end of the day, but it gets us through the day.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
who knows? I think it's just more like it should never be used as a weapon, never used for power, never used for money, never used to even broadcast. It should just be. It sounds like to me, like how you brought it up in your upbringing and how I keep talking about American. It just seems like religion just is an individual thing. Mm-hmm. It's between you and God, and it should be only between you and God. It shouldn't even be, it shouldn't be you and your wife and God, you and your parents and God. It's like, it's individual. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like how people say, like, sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
It's on you. It's just figure it out. And then just don't be a dick. Mm-hmm. Really should just be a you problem, because it's individual. No, that's what makes you an American, individuality. So it's just between you. Keep it a personal problem or a personal journey. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like the greatness of how life works. It's a personal journey, so why burden that with others?
And I feel like the more that it gets centralized into institutional power structures, just like with government, a higher risk of hypocrisy, of the institution asking its members to do things that defile core teachings. But if you say, well, it's okay in this case because at least you're doing it for God, trust me. Thou shalt not kill, except
if God is with us, who could be against us, kind of thing.
except if you're killing infidels, then it's totally okay to kill. 10 Commandments don't actually mean all that much if it's all in the service of the Lord.
It's like what was it in Full Metal Jacket during the boot camp scene? You know,
God has a hard-on for Marine because we kill everything we see. He plays his games, we play ours. To show our appreciation for so much power, we keep heaven packed with fresh souls.
that guy, like that concept. It was like, yeah, it's okay. It's bad to kill unless
You look at the 10 Commandments, there's a lot of it's a wrong. Our doctrine says it's wrong to do this unless, and I think that's kind of the threat I feel is the more you institutionalize that stuff when it should just be decentralized and more intimate regarding people and their souls, and leave money, leave the guns, leave the weapons, leave the power structures out of it,
and the children alone. Well, because your soul can't take anything. That's the whole point.
This is why I don't put much stock into people talking about, first of all, flexing about how much they love their faith, that they post Bible quotes on their Facebook pages about how much they love the Jeebus. And I don't put much stock into that because I'm like, you're coping for something. I don't believe you. You're really bragging about this, and I don't believe you. You're putting way too much pride against this. And as much as you like to use talk about how pride is a sin when Pride Month comes around, kettle, meet pot.
Like, I try to go to church with my boys. It's just like, no, they're 3 and 1. I'm not gonna deal with that shit. I'm gonna do it at home and pray with them at home when I can. And I try to do it every night, but when I do it every night with my oldest son, I always just say in my prayers, whatever we're praying about, the main one I repeat always is just, and please make sure everyone in the world tonight gets a hug, good and bad. We all need a hug. There's nothing wrong with that. Even bad people need a hug. And that's Jesus loved. Jesus is the only person in our human history who loved you for just being fucking you. That is insane when you think about that.
Yeah.
There's actually, I was wrong. I'm wrong. There's 2 people like that. Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Jesus and Mr. Rogers were the only 2 humans on this fucking planet who ever just said, I love you because of just you. Mm-hmm. That's insane. And you and I both know that. But fucking they're better men than we are for that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's the Christ I thought I was being taught to emulate. And whether or not I believe in his divinity, I'd like to think that I'm at least going on attempting to be by that example. I don't know how good at it I am, but I try.
I gotta assume too, if all you have is bread and wine, you must have a lot of good jokes.
Yeah.
If you're just having nothing but bread and wine, there's no way you have abs.
Oh yeah.
and there's no way you're not funny.
Well, they didn't have sophisticated workout equipment back then. I'm sure not a lot of them had good abs.
Saying the way the South Koreans depict them with these fucking 8-pack muscles just ripped like Kratos from God of War is wrong.
I don't think that was possible with what they had back then.
The best part about, oh God, I love the South Park song, The Body of Christ, the body of Christ, the body of Christ. Oh, what a body I'd love to call my own, the body of Christ. A sweet swimmer's body all muscled up and toned. Lord Almighty, never been so enticed. Oh, I wish I had the body of Christ, the body of Christ. Hallelujah. Yeah, Eric Cartman, everybody. Faith Plus One was his Christian rock band. He got questioned once by a Christian studio record label of these songs make it sound like you love Christ. Well, yeah, of course I love Christ. No. It sounds like You're in love. Like, you're literally in love with them. Well, what's the difference, right? Either you love them or you don't. You got to hold hands with them down the valley of hell and stuff. Yeah, of course I love Christ. Don't you love Christ? Yes. Of course we love Christ. And then he's like, sir, I have never tried to make profit off of God ever in my life. And if I am lying, so help me God, may he strike me down right now. And you see Butters going like this. Oh, shit. And he starts scooting away from him like, oh, Jesus. And Tolkien is next to our Cartman on the other side, just looking up like, fuck. Is that our episode? I can just feel it from you.
Did we solve religion, Tom? Did we fix it all?
When there's less suits on stages, I guess they'll tell us. When we see less car salesmen.
Hey, there we go. Yeah. Less people who miss their chance at PR and marketing. Well, no, I say miss their calling like it was by accident, but no, they just want more money.
It's just funny. Basically, okay, that's our show. Got a little squirrely there, and that's what we do here. I'm almost a calm squirrel.
But hopefully you'll understand where we're coming from if, I don't know, some guy from the Trump White House or his allies do some shit to invoke God or whatever. You know where we're coming from.
And here's the thing: I always question that any administration can do that. It's just not his. That's why I just question government. Anyone can get authoritarian. It doesn't matter who you are, what your party is. You can turn into evil quick. That's the whole point of human history. Is just like it can get bad, and then the whole point of human history shouldn't be let's discover a new land. Hey, you're a native to this land. Here's the book.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, when we finally meet alien contact, are we going to throw a book at them?
Not unless we are absolutely sure we can obliterate them from orbit, of which I'm sure Space Force is on the job.
Just be good to each other, everyone. Doesn't matter who we are, what we look like, and how we pray. Just be cool to each other. We all like food, so there's nothing different. There's no difference between us. We're all the same. We like to eat. We like to get fat. Good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Yeah. Pray for all that is good, if that is what you're into.
And also pray for all that is bad, because then it'll be good soon. If you do that, pray for both. You gotta pray for both sides. Both sides of the coin need to be prayed for, so they all come together in the same light, right?
Bye, everyone.